So if we look at the calendar like we do in a ton of my videos, you will see that on June 7th, we have the May monthly awards. We got April Player of the Month after the month of April. Today is June 1st. And so we're going to be getting May monthly awards players, not for a little while because it's on Wednesday. But since the month ended, I wanted to make my predictions as I always do. So today I'm going to be giving you guys my predictions for the May Player of the Month program. Shout out to my guy MLB22 Card Art on Twitter. Great guy. I want to get as many card designers as I can in these videos. Last time was Dort Diplo. He did an amazing job, and so did Cal. But he designed both captain cards, he did the lightning card, and I bought a template. So I made the rest of the cards. But regardless, shout out to Cal. For the pitching captain, I have Ron Guidry, and for the captains, I kind of just picked people at random, just based off of players who I was thinking like, wow, they don't really have any good cards yet. So that's basically what I did to determine these guys. I have Ron Guidry as the pitching captain, four-seam slider, sinker, curveball, changeup, really high stamina on walks per 9 and control. Ron Guidry cards are never going to be good, but I just thought to myself, what card does he have? And he only has an 81 overall gold, so he could be the May Monthly Awards pitching captain. Same thing for Yasmani Grandal. He sort of fell off a cliff last year and isn't really as good this year. But when he was in his prime, he was an amazing catcher. And I think that they could give us another great catcher option with Yasmani Grandal. Switch hitter, 95, 103 contact, 106, 110 power are my predictions with really high discipline. This would be a really good free card. Starting off the 95 overalls, we have Zach McKinstry from the Detroit Tigers. He hit 301 with 2 homers and 6 RBIs. Pretty good utility guy, can play second, third, short, left, and right. I have him being pretty good against righties and okay against lefties, with 98 clutch helping him out against lefties. The second guy who I have in the 95 overall pack who might actually get lightning, I would be shocked if he was the lightning card, but he could get a higher card. It just ended up the way that I structured them, him getting a 95, but regardless, he deserves one for sure. Another guy with a ton of defensive flexibility, can play third, second, short, and the entire outfield. He's going to have really high power because he had a big home run streak and he had a high OPS with 1.039 in the month of May. So I have his power at 120 and 100, and he's also going to have really good speed and arm strength. The next guy is someone who is like extremely under the radar so far this year, which is Leudy Tavares. Obviously, the Texas Rangers have been one of the best teams in baseball so far this year, but no one has really realized how good this guy has been. I didn't even know he was until I was researching players to do this program, and he's been amazing all season. But in the month of May, he hit 368 with 2 homers and 15 RBIs. He recorded a hit in 20 of his 25 games, and 10 of those were multi-hit. So his contact is going to be really high, which I have as 111 and 125. The power is not going to be as high, but should be at least in the 80s. Clutch should be high as well. He should have around goal defense with a really strong arm and really good speed. Bryce Elder is currently the ERA leader in the MLB. Now, ERA is a good stat, but I think that there are a couple things that make it a little misleading, but it's still a good stat. And regardless, it's still very impressive what he's done so far this year. In the month of May, he has a 1.72 ERA with a whip of 1.12. I could definitely see this guy getting a Player of the Month card. I think he'll be a pretty balanced pitcher. I don't think he'll do anything amazing except for the break and the control, which are two very good things. But velocity is pretty solid. Hits per 9, Ks per 9, clutch are going to be pretty good. His pitch mix is going to be great, though. Sinker, slider, cutter, circle change. I hope they just give him a 5th pitch. Now, as a Yankees fan, I'm here to tell you guys that Wani Peralta is one of the most underrated relievers in the entire MLB. This guy is such a stud, and to consider the fact that he's gotten no recognition in MLB The Show is insane. I don't think he's ever gotten any card outside of his live series. Correct me if I'm wrong. And his live series is a 68 overall, which is ridiculous in my opinion. He's an insanely good reliever. He, again, had a really good month in May for my Yankees. He had a 1.93 ERA with a 1.14 whip, and he only had 2 holds, but he does save sometimes, and he had, I think it was 3 or 4 saves, so he's kind of a split of a reliever and a closer, but primarily he's a reliever, so that's why I had holds on the card art. But regardless, going to have really high hits per 9 and clutch, 99 velo. He's going to have a circle change, sinker, slider, 4-seam. This would be a very good card. The next guy is another guy who I could see getting the lightning card, Lourdes Garcia Jr. what a steal the Diamondbacks got in that Dalton Varsho trade. Dalton Varsho had a great year last year. He's still a great player for the Blue Jays. But I mean, the Diamondbacks easily won the trade. They got this guy who's been amazing. They also got Gabriel Moreno, and I'm forgetting another guy who they got in that trade, I'm pretty sure. But regardless, let's focus on Lourdes Garcia Jr. Left field, can play first, second, short, and right. In the month of May, he was one of the best hitters in baseball. He had a slugging of 714 and an OPS of 1130. That is amazing. 352 average, very good. I'm worried that they're going to nerf his power, which they shouldn't because he had an OPS of 1130, and he's kind of known as a contact hitter. But he's going to have near max contact versus both sides, should have good power, should have really good clutch, and he'll be an all-right defender. The next guy is someone who is definitely going to have high power. It's Jorge Soler. He went on a tear in the month of May. He had 5 games in a row where he homered, and he homered in 12 games in the month of May. And I mean, he hits for power. That's what he does. He's a designated hitter, can play the entire outfield. Not going to be able to do it well with those horrible fielding stats, but he'll be a very good DH card. I have him with max power versus both sides, and then contact, I would say, in the 90s. I could see it in the 80s if they're giving him a little worse of a card, but overall, this card would be probably one of the best power hitters in the game. The next guy that we have is Spencer Steger, another guy who I just didn't really know anything about until I researched for this video. He has been really good for the Reds. Hit 318 with 6 homers and 19 RBIs. Third base, can play the entire infield. Going to be around gold defense with alright speed in the 70s, I would say. And he's going to be a pretty balanced hitter. Across the board, I would say 90s with a couple in the 100s. So Spencer Steger having a great year. Now, the Nationals don't really have that much to be excited about, but they did snag Jeimer Candelario in the offseason. I think either this offseason or last offseason, but he's been very underrated. He led all third basemen in WAR in the month of May. That's not on his card, but I just wanted to point that out. That's really impressive. And he also hit 295 with 3 homers, 11 RBIs. I think his OPS was somewhere in the high 800s, low 900s. He's going to be another pretty balanced hitter. The power should be in the 100s. The contact should be in the 90s or 100s, and the clutch should be very high. But Jeimer Candelario has had good cards in the past, and this would be another one. Elias Diaz, again, another guy who has been insanely underrated this year because he plays for the Rockies. He has been their catcher, and he has been a really good contact hitter. Overall, pretty good just in general. Hit 321 in the month of May. In the entire year, I think he's like third in the hitting crown or for the batting title in the NL. I think he's second or third behind Luis Arias, of course. But Elias Diaz for sure is in the running for a Player of the Month card. 125, 100 against righties. I have 86, 83 against lefties. He's much better against righties, so I could see him having better splits against righties. Also, not a great defender, but does have a really good arm. Carlos Estevez has been lights out for the Angels so far this year. He's done an amazing job filling in for Bryce Elder, who they traded last year to the Braves. 4-seam slider circle change. The pitch mix it's good enough for a reliever. Could use one more pitch, maybe a sinker or a cutter. But regardless, he's been amazing. I mean, he had 7 saves with an ERA of 1.74 with a whip of 1.16. He only gave up 2 earned runs, 2 homers, and 3 walks in the entire month. That is very difficult to do. So 109, 102 hit in case per 9 with 100 clutch, 99 velo too. This card would be really good. To start the 98 overalls, we have Michael Wacha. Michael Wacha, he's only 31 years old. That's pretty crazy. It seems like he's been in the league for forever. But he had a really bad April, and then he had a really good May. It was like he completely flipped the switch for the Padres. He's going to have a good pitch mix with 4-seam circle change, cutter, curveball, sinker. Pretty much all you need. The velocity isn't going to be amazing, but it'll be all right. It'll be in the mid-90s. He's going to have good hits per 9, good walks per 9. His walks per 9 should be really high, which means his control should be good as well. Luis Robert Jr. is another guy who could be lightning, but he had an amazing month of May. Hit for 310, 8 homers, 17 RBIs, and he had an OPS of 1.044. All across the board are going to be a really good hitter. Probably going to be better against lefties, but still going to be good against righties, and will have gold defense and 90 speed. Nathan Eovaldi was an amazing pickup for the Rangers. He was one of multiple free agent signings that have just been very good for them. 4-seam curveball, slider, splitter, cutter, has a pretty good pitch mix, has a 99 break, and he'll probably have really good stamina because he had a bunch of complete games. as you can see on the card art, went into the 8th inning in 3 starts while throwing 37.2 innings for the Rangers. So he's not going to get tired. Now, Freddie Freeman, I could see them not giving him a Player of the Month card just because they would want to save him for finest, but why not give him like a 98? Because he's been insane. He hit 400 in the month of May. I think batting average is overrated, but that is still so impressive to be hitting 400. So his contact and clutch should be maxed out. The power is going to be in the 80s and the 90s. He still hits for power, still had 6 homers, but man, he would be a really good contact hitter with goal defense as well. For the Lightning card, you guys saw the thumbnail. Juan Soto, I think, is my pick for the Lightning card. There's speculation that it could be Aaron Judge. As a Yankees fan, I would be very happy with that, obviously, but I don't know if they're going to give him a Player of the Month card because, I mean, he's the best hitter in baseball. They would probably save him for finest, but if they do, they do. But like last year, they didn't save Soto for finest. They gave him a Home Run Derby card when he won the Home Run Derby. I could see them doing the same thing with Player of the Month here. He would be a beast. He would be really good. I mean, 125, 125, 125 for contact and power versus righties and discipline. Clutch is going to be high. Stats versus lefties are not going to be as good, but are still going to be good. He's going to be around silver defense, but would be one of the best hitters in the game. So yeah, that is going to be it for this video. If you guys are new, follow me on all my social medias, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, but most importantly, make sure you're subscribed right here on YouTube. So yeah, see you guys in the next one. Peace.